Hello and welcome to another episode of Minimize Regret. In this video, I actually took my inspiration from another video, I believe it was a video by Glamour, and I'll link it in the description, where they asked people ages 5 to 75 what their biggest regret in life was. Now, for some of the younger ones, it was kind of funny what they're saying, and like a lot of them had no regrets, which I think is great and admirable and probably true. But as the answers started to get up in age towards like 30, and that's when I really started to pay attention, and then even as we got into the 50s and 60s and 70s, that's where I really keyed in, because I think the older someone is, the more their regret is real. And from my perspective, there were a few big themes that were really important. The first one was big goals, and people really regret not going after their big goals. And I think these people fully acknowledge that going after these big goals would have costs, but really, those are the things that kind of make life worth living and give you kind of your reason why. So I definitely, I don't know, understand and empathize where they're coming from with those ones. Some of the other ones were how you treat others, like being mean or inconsiderate. And then there was one person who said not paying enough attention, which is, that kind of goes along with being mean and inconsiderate. It's just, you kind of lose your head and lose your grasp of the present moment and get involved in your ego, and you lash out because something offends you or something of that nature. So just a side note, I totally understand this one. The way I view my younger self is just someone who is totally absorbed in their own head and just lost in thought, and therefore not really concerned about the quality of interactions that I'm having with others, which is honestly one of the most important things. So, at least so far, my two biggest takeaways were like, hey, have big goals and go after them, and two, pay attention and actually care about others. Like, other people make life worth living. Like, there is nothing without other people, and so I think we need to respect that and care for that and kind of acknowledge that. And then the third thing that probably spoke to me the most of anything, although like I really like not paying enough attention, like that was a big one for me, but the other one was, this person really regrets being scared. And even more so than being stuck in my own head, although I do think the two things are tied together. One of my biggest regrets is being scared of stuff, and then that stopping me from either chasing my dreams or behaving in a certain way. Because the truth is, we tend to hype things up in our mind and get lost, and that stops us from taking action. And I really think the key to a good life is living at least near your or beyond your edge a large majority of the time, and that requires you to feel the fear and do it anyway. So really, probably better, what the person probably means, rather than they regret being so scared, or another way to frame it is that they regret being a coward. And honestly, like, that's what I regret. Like, I used to have so much social anxiety, like if I was walking down a sidewalk, and like I wouldn't even want to walk past a person. Like, I would change my route in order to like try to avoid people and having to like interact with them or look with them in the eye. And like, I really regret that, because if I could have simply done something very minor and pushed past my fear, and there was literally very little risk, I just only hyped it up in my mind, then that would have allowed me to push and grow sooner in my life. So, yeah, honestly, I thought it was a really great video, and if you're interested in the topic of regret, I recommend you check it out. Just to summarize, my three big takeaways are: have big goals, pay attention to what's going on, and use that paying attention to have good relationship with others, and finally, acknowledge fear and use it as a motivator to inspire action rather than it be something that holds you back and prevent you being who you're supposed to be.